a sought-after brand and recognition among the private sector.
I work abroad as an OFW, and I've seen the experience of how Filipino were treated that time. So I always thought of creating an event someday to really recognize Filipinos and also market Philippines.
Let's present Philippines in a positive light. And the goal is expand your business, start your business, move your business to Philippines, hire Filipinos. They're good people to work with, and you'll do well. That's the goal.
Way back when we were the poor or sick country of Asia, and now if you take a look at, for example, the BPO industry, we're number one in the world. There's a lot of potential for the country, and if we are really going to see fruition that we are going to be one of the top economies by 2050, I think it is very important for us to really pull our resources together.
And we always believed from the beginning that this association was the right medium, the right structure, and the right outfit to really put the Philippine business community on top of the agenda for the Filipino people and also for the international community.
Well, it gives me a fantastic insight in terms of how broad the industries are and how many different types of successes that are contributing to the growth and inclusive growth of this nation.
We have to create a future where our next generation of talent and leaders is prepared for all of the new opportunities that will present themselves.
Asia CEO Forum is very unique because it is more than any other forum emphasizing that this is about nation building.
Economic growth is a very wide subject, and Asia CEO Forum always find the right angle with the right topic at the right time to talk about, and that's why there is such attraction to these events.
They connect people, but they also create a platform for transfer of best practices, best knowledge.
I believe in the vision of Richard and Rebecca. I think they have this vision to help make the Philippines a first world country in 2030.
And with our partnership together, I know that we're achieving a lot of things.
Thank you for what you're doing. We applaud your efforts. We're proud and happy to be your partners.
We encourage other companies to join in and be a sponsor, and I'm very, very sure that they'll find it worthwhile.
They say what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. But what makes one unbreakable? That courage to move forward. That desire for self-discovery, to surpass new limits. That grit to evolve and emerge anew. Now, brave the new world and discover this new chapter. Defy the odds. Live outside your limits. Break the wheel of what's expected. After all, it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey. You are unbreakable.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All-powerful and believing God, who always acts for the success of each and everyone, and of our nation as a whole, you have prepared a bright future for all of us. We thank you for always being at work in our lives, for leading us and supporting us amidst this difficult moment of our history. Now, in a special way, we are grateful that you have gathered us in this event to hear and learn from people who have in a special way experienced your divine providence in the business sector, to teach us and to serve as our inspiration in our actions. amidst the challenges of the present time. We believe in your goodness. We are placing our confidence in your providence. We pray that what we do may always have your blessing as we strive and continue to walk and move forward. As we celebrate your kindness and generosity, together we implore you, O Lord, to continue strengthening us, inspiring us, and uniting us as we journey as one towards a prosperous nation. Let your Spirit guide all our actions. Allow the spirit of cooperation and concern to always inflame each one of us as we work together in achieving the best for our country. May we always filled with joy and thanksgiving in all our endeavors, knowing that you're always at work in us. With hearts full of gratitude and jubilation, we ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
So welcome to Asia SME Forum 2021. This is always an impactful and interesting event, in my opinion, especially. And I got to say, I don't know if we'll call it luck or whatever, but we really do have some really good speakers this year, as we do in most years. But Joe Magsaysay has been such a success in his Potato Corner behemoth organization, and we have quite a range of interesting people and stories to talk about today. And I'll emphasize this enough, but this is the bulk of these people, these SMEs companies. These are the bulk of the employment of the nation and future growth. If this country is to be a first world country, as we all know it will be key for entrepreneurs like these and this sector to really grow. We already have some really good big companies. I would say absolutely we do. But we need to have that middle size and small industries really banked out. So we're really glad to have you with us. Welcome for Asia SME Forum 2021. All right, our first speaker for this event is Mitch Loxon. His formal title is pretty impressive. First Vice President, Enterprise Revenue Group Head. So this is a large organization and responsibilities that he has of PLDT Enterprise. And he has really made a name for himself as previously head of the PLDT SME Nation division, and really focused and really did a lot of good work there. And maybe he did so good that they gave him this big promotion. But we're really glad to have Mitch on our side for this event. He's also the founding executive director of IBPAP, the industry leading association for the BPO shared services industry in Philippines that has been such a success for the nation. So let's get going with Mitch Loxon. Welcome, Mitch. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Richard. It's nice to be back. Always glad to speak at any of your events, Richard. So thank you for the kind words. Good morning, everyone. And thank you again for inviting me today to be one of your speakers. So as you all know, we are once again faced with quarantine restrictions, and we all know how greatly this affects the way we conduct our business. Our manual procedures, for example, and the stop-gap processes continue to be challenged as more and more customers demand newer, faster, more secured, and safer way of doing business. The growth of the Philippine economy, as you all know, is largely driven by the MSMEs. These businesses are vital in job creation, in contributing over a third of the country's total employment. MSMEs are truly the country's heroes, and in our roadmap to economic recovery, they should be prioritized in getting back on track. The MSMEs continue to feel the impact of COVID-19. The segment represents over 99.5% of the total enterprises in the country. The losses of the MSMEs have a significant effect on our national economy. This is why it is important for all of us here at PLDT Enterprise as well to see how we can help in building that road to recovery. Here's the good news. The Bangko Sentral of the Philippines, or ng Pilipinas, recently shared that the business sentiments are improving for 2021, despite the ECQ that we just experienced. The confidence index in the BSP's Business Expectation Survey for the first quarter of 2021 rose to 17.4% from 10.6% in 2020, right? The optimism comes from reopening of the businesses to new business and marketing strategies, to vaccine rollouts, and strategies that could make their business more resilient. This shows us the unbreakable spirit of our MSMEs. Filipino entrepreneurs are finding ways to survive and come out stronger, even as we come from the worst post-war GDP slump ever. This resilience is reflected on the number of startups that the pandemic brought about. We see around 1,100 new business permit applications per day still. This is a 10% increase in new business name registrations per day compared to the same period last year. Our MSMEs, truly our economic heroes, continue to hustle despite the difficult times they face. Now, what we need to do is to find general needs that MSMEs need immediate and continuous access to. A recent study by the Department of Trade and Industry conducted in February 2021, where 15,400 MSMEs participated in, showed that 56.4% are fully operating, while 39.3% are partially operating, and 4.3% have stopped their operations completely. In addition, 69% have not adopted to any forms of e-commerce or digital play, as we say. We at PLDT Enterprise curated digital solutions for the MSMEs that can help in their road to recovery. One of these solutions is Beyond Fiber, for example, a business-grade internet connection. PLDT has over 420,000 kilometers of fiber footprint rolled out in the country, and we continue to fast-track this in supporting the growing digital needs of our businesses in the Philippines. In 2020, PLDT Enterprise started migrating all of our customers. I think it's up close to 900,000 customers that are still in our copper lines. So we're migrating all of these businesses to fiber and homes to fiber lines for a strengthened, faster connectivity. Businesses need a trusted and reliable partner with a resilience as unbreakable as theirs that could support their needs in this ever-changing business landscape. To know more about this solution, please watch this video.
Nandoon ka at my lowest. Nung isa-isa na wala mga customers ko. Nung akala ko, pasara na shop ko. You gave me hope when all seemed dark and when I was lost. You encouraged me to look beyond, to go beyond, to focus on my family, friends, and blessings despite it all. Lahat yun, naitawid ko kasi nandyan ka sa tabi ko, nagpapaalala na kaya ko. So ngayon dahil sa'yo, mas matapang na ako to face any challenge. Now I realize what matters most. So thank you. Thank you for being there for me through everything. Nagbago man ang mundo, alam ko, kaya ko na harapin ang araw-araw na walang takot. Kasi you are just right by my side. And I can always count on you. Kaya salamat, ikaw talaga ang BFF ko.
So Beyond Fiber is your business's best friend, a supporter, a motivator, and a trustworthy partner. This is the best choice to help drive the continued growth for enterprises. This is the most reliable choice as you bring your business online. So for business to thrive during and even more so after the lockdown restrictions, they need to expand their channels from in-store to online, from online stores, websites, social media, or even chat. They need to go cashless, as even cardless, right? Through digital payment gateways, which provide fast, convenient, real-time, and secured transactions. They need to be connected with strong, reliable, readily available, and secured connections, whether it's fixed, wireless, or a combination of both. We at PLDT Enterprise always strive to make a positive impact on every single business. We assure MSMEs our unbreakable commitment to them. And we know that this sector is key for the inclusive economy recovery of our country. It is our vision to help MSMEs to the bold. It is our passion to help our MSMEs to become brave. We will continue to provide digital solutions that will help support MSMEs as they navigate through this new business landscape. So thank you once again to everyone. Good morning. Thank you again, Richard.
The difference between mankind and other species is our ingenuity. Throughout history, we've learned to invent and reinvent for the better. From the way we learn, transact, consume, care, and serve, adversity allows us to transform. Sure, industries will live and die. Life will change, but it beckons us to begin again, to live again. Just open your eyes and see.
Bravo. Okay, we're all set to go. So glad to have you, of course, Mitch, and it's a good message. All right, so here we go again with our next speaker is Cindy Burdett, the co-founder and CEO of All Care Technologies. Cindy is building an interesting business. She provides membership-based benefits for gig workers or freelance workers. And this is one of the biggest opportunities for entrepreneurship that Filipinos have. The whole world is looking for freelance workers. This is the greatest, fastest growing opportunity people have to really get their careers and their own businesses off the ground. So, yeah, with an interesting story about how she started her own business and got it going and fast growing during the COVID time. Please welcome Cindy Burdett, the CEO of All Care. Thank you, and welcome, Cindy.
Hey, Richard. Thanks for that introduction. We'll share a bit about what All Care is and how we've done the last 2 years. Hopefully, SMEs can get a bit of an idea of how they can thrive in this industry, and especially given the pandemic, how they can continue to grow. So today, I'm just very quickly going to share about the growth and grit story of All Care, especially in the time of COVID. So first off, what is All Care? We're the country's first and only digital membership platform that gives access to employee benefits to freelancers and gig workers, right? They're not your typical employees. And so it's very unique. We also cater to the MSMEs of the country. What you get when you become a customer of All Care is all-in-one worker services. So from healthcare to mental counseling, optical wellness programs, everything that a big corporation would typically give its employees, a freelancer, a gig worker can have access to that. Ours is holistic and professional, and we let businesses focus on what's important to them by outsourcing care to us. We're accessible and affordable. Like our plan starts 17 pesos a day. So it's very, very affordable. And we're technology-led. We're a tech company. And so through our tech, people can get easy access to all of their benefits. And more importantly, we're practical. Like we support people even in the times that they really need us, especially now with the pandemic. Now, I wanted to leave our SMEs and our friends, with more information as to how to get to a place where they can scale and grow. So I wanted to leave us with 5 keys to our growth. Number 1 is focus. As a small business and a startup, we're always excited about the next big thing, right? The next shiny object to make us more revenue, to get us customers. But a lot of times that means lessened impact on what's crucial. But as we focus on our key areas and we gambled on very select initiatives, we were able to give it 100% effort and get the impact that we wanted. Second is team. Like we absolutely had the right people for the job. And we're not talking about functional right fit. Not just that. We're talking about people who really wanted to get the job done no matter the challenge. And so we had a lot of grit in the team. And more importantly, we had a culture of love. We love what we do. If you look at our website, look at our Facebook page, you'll see stories upon stories of our customers saying how big of a help All Care was to them at a time when they had to focus on the business, or they had to focus on getting clients as freelancers, and being able to lean on All Care to take care of them was such a big help. One of the other things that we really value is support and mentorship. Like, look, I might be here speaking, but I absolutely know I don't know anything, right? And so we don't let hubris get in the way of improvement. So we go to our advisors, we go to our investors, we go to our partners to get help from them. We ask for help. We're very specific with the help that we need, but we ask for it and, we get it. And so if you're an entrepreneur and you're starting a business, don't be afraid to use your network and ask for help. And a big thing that played in our growth is a story of faith, right? Throughout the pandemic, we were so scared. As we grew, the number of people we had to take care of and really cater to also grew. And then when the pandemic hit, it was like a nightmare, right? Because now the people that we cared for and loved and wanted to service might end up contracting the virus, and they would be, there's so many ways that story could end. But, we believe that God gave us a special mission, and through every challenge, we see validation from stories of our members, how they got through certain difficulties with us, and how our understanding as a service provider really helped them get through those difficult times. And so for us as an SME, it's very important to focus on your select initiatives, focus on your team, build that strong culture, ask for help when you need it, and more importantly, have that faith to just get through the tough times together. And you got people like us who support you, right? And so I wanted to leave this 5 keys for growth for SMEs who want to scale in the way that All Care did over the last 2 years.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Yeah, you're right. So every entrepreneur needs this sort of a thing. So you're both an entrepreneur and a provider of important services, because this is one of the big, reasons people use for not becoming an entrepreneur is, oh my God, I'm going to lose all my benefits and healthcare. What am I going to do?
Absolutely, man. Like we want you as an entrepreneur to focus on getting clients, getting the dough, right? We want to take care of the people that do this without taking brain space. So we exist for that purpose. We use technology to make it scalable fast.
Wow. Okay, lots of energy too, Cindy. Well done. All right, our next speaker is Don Gamboa, founder and CEO of White Cloak Technologies, and started as just a small enterprise and now handling large clients. I didn't know he was doing the kind of work he was doing, but mobile and web apps that we all use. This is the guy who does this kind of work for large organizations. Some of his clients include Union Bank, Ayala Malls, the BIR. He's trying to help with other government groups. So really important work and really interesting work. So please welcome Don Gamboa of White Cloak Technologies. Glad to have you, Don.
Thanks for having me, Richard. And that was a great introduction. So very excited to share with you my story, startup story at White Cloak. So let me just share the very short keynote I prepared for you guys. Good morning, everyone. So I'd like to share the story of our startup. It's called White Cloak Technologies. And we're a software development company, like Richard mentioned, and we specialize in web, mobile apps, and other more advanced technologies like AI and IoT. So just like many other bootstrap startup, our journey started out in our house. As you can see in this picture, you can see my laundry just outside, and we were just a modest team of 4. Coming from a finance background, the original business idea was to create an easy-to-use stock screener app. But long story short, we didn't push through because we discovered how much it actually costs to acquire market data for commercial use. Venturing into software development wasn't easy for us. It's a competitive space, and we were all just in our mid-20s. We didn't give up. We took on small projects, sometimes even for free, just to build our portfolio and learn more about the industry, I guess. So I developed the iOS apps while Mix developed the Android counterpart. And that went on for a long time, about 3 years. Our turning point was when we decided to join software development competitions called hackathons. The first one we joined was hosted by Globe, and it was pretty daunting being surrounded by all these smart kids from different fields. We ended up as a finalist, and we already considered that a victory for our first try. We realized that it was such a great marketing strategy because we get to show off our skills, and there's really no cost to joining one. And so we joined every national hackathon there was. And the next thing we knew, we were on a winning streak. From banking hackathons to telco to blockchain hackathons. But for me, the most notable one was UHack, the biggest hackathon in the country as of that time. It was hosted by Union Bank, and here we bagged the grand prize. The board of judges, who happened to be C-level executives, were really impressed with us that they awarded us with a very important project, developing their mobile banking app from scratch. The bar was set very high since digital banking has always been their forte. There were many, many sleepless nights, sacrifices, including me dropping out of grad school. But in just 6 months, we were able to do a public launch of the app, and it was a huge success, receiving multiple international awards the following year. Our happy client also awarded us as their partner of the year the same year we developed their app, and other awards which really meant the world to us. We also garnered other business awards along the way. All these were such a massive boost in our portfolio. So after that, we continued getting huge projects from one large enterprise to another, solely from word of mouth. I'm not going to go through each of them, but from here, it was all about scaling our service-oriented company. And from a humble team of 2, 3 years ago, we now have over 180 full-time innovators, and we are definitely looking to grow much more this year.
Well done, Don. Yeah, so a really good story. I'm so glad to see, young guys, sharp young guys setting up these operations. The technology side is so important in advancing any nation, including the Philippines. So really a big success, and well done to you. All right, our next speaker is Mila Sering. She is the Senior Managing Director of 77 Global Services. And this is one of these fairly prominent and been around for a while, IT BPO services, putting Filipinos to work here to serve companies around the world with high paid and very good jobs. So we want to have lots of these, and Mila is a good example of an entrepreneurial outfit. So please welcome Mila Sering of 77 Global Services. Glad to have you, Mila.
Okay, so yes, I am Mila Sering. I am the Senior Managing Director and Chief Operating Officer of 77 Global Services in Manila. What I would say is one of the best thing I've ever done is when I came back to the Philippines. I was tasked to open a IT company, although my background is not in IT, but I did it for the purposes of helping young students, the young graduates, bright minds, to train in the technology called Java. Okay, so I must say 77 is one of the pioneer of Java technology in the Philippines. And the objective is to be able to train the young minds, fresh graduates, and bring them over to the United States and give them better opportunities in our clients who are Fortune 500 in the US. In 1999, I started a delivery center in the Philippines with 7 people in a 70 square meter office. Now we are about 2,000 people. Serving not only the US, but we grew exponentially in the Philippines, especially in the financial business, manufacturing, healthcare, and telco. So that's one of our success, and we're actually celebrating our 25th year this year. So yes, I am proud to say that we have helped people find jobs, especially during this time. They still continue to have jobs and the demands is still high. And so we're still very happy that we're able to build more work and give more people opportunities to have jobs in large corporations in the Philippines. When I opened the company in 1999, it was just me. I didn't know how to do it. I had no idea how to start a business. But I think the best thing that I've ever did is hire the best minds. I hired the best minds because I know that the success of a manager is knowing who to hire. So that's how we actually grew. So operations became bigger. Then I moved to sales. I was lucky enough to open big corporations as my account. And we are big in all of those companies. We are by the hundreds of the companies, and we probably are in the top 5 banks. We serve the top 5 banks in the Philippines. And one thing that we're very proud of is we are the only company that actually cater to the biggest global consumer manufacturing company. So most of our clients are with us for 10 to 15 years. So it's a long partnership. And we're continuously continuously growing. From 2,000, we're expecting to move this year to another 500, despite the pandemic. So yeah, and I'm very proud of our people. And one thing for me is that a client is happy. Our clients are very happy. We provide them the smartest people, may not be the cheapest, but the smartest people. And that's what's important in helping our client grow. So a happy customer is really a happy provider.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Our next speaker, we welcome Myrna Yao, the president and CEO of Richwell Trading. You may not have heard of this business, but you certainly have heard of her products. Myrna dominates the toy business in the nation. She's the exclusive distributor for a number of brands. I'm told Mattel, Barbie, Fisher-Price, VTech, all kind. If you're a parent of small children in particular, you know these products and you know the impact they have on your children and your family. So this is the person behind all of that. So she started her business very small, I'm told with 5,000 pesos in capital. Today she employs 1,400 people and really does a fantastic work. She's past chairman of the Philippine Commission on Women and founding chairperson of the Philippine Federation of Local Councils of Women. So she's really had a big impact in business and especially for women, but for many different areas of this nation. So please welcome Myrna Yao, President and CEO of Richwell Trading. Glad to have you, Myrna.
Yes, good morning. Hello. I'm excited again to be here in Asian CEO Forum. I believe that the one reason that I was able to do it with 5,000 capital is because of course, our determination to do it. Determination is very important. And of course, but it's not enough. You need to have a very good connection, very good ideas, and the vision. Vision is really very important because without a vision, we don't know where we're going. But the vision will not be any importance if you don't have the right direction. And that's not all. Of course, you have to take care of your team. It's like, you cannot shoot the ball or be a winner if you don't have a team. Like in basketball, you have to have a team, and that team will help you because you cannot do everything by yourself. And by the way, being in business and at the same time being in the government, I was 10 years with the government, is totally very different. But I was able to adapt. And so the other thing, being a micro entrepreneur now is more difficult than during my time, right? Because now competitors are there, but there are still lots of micro entrepreneurs who are making it because the secret, they have a different product, they have a different taste, they have a different, innovative ideas that's making them, grow and making them different from the other ideas. So they are still doing well. So my secret here is to be creative. You have to make, you have to create something that's not there. And whatever you see can also guide you to different ideas. So it's also important that you browse a lot in the internet, whatever are there in the world, so that you will be able to think of an original ideas, not an ideas that's already there. But with our generation, now my generation, I hope, because I don't consider myself an old generation, I still consider myself as a young generation. I'm able to see a lot of things without being there. I'm able to talk to a lot of people without being there, which gave us a more advantageous way of doing business. So, my dear friends, the most important thing also for a large corporation is to have competent people. And our people is one of the most important people in our organization. We have to take care of them. We have to see to it that they are motivated, they are really doing their job well, and they're very competent. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that I was able to share my secret. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Myrna Yao, everyone. Yeah, what a great story, Myrna. Keep up the great work. I know you keep on going. And yeah, you're very much an inspiration to many people. So thank you again. Okay, our next speaker is Kathleen Milla, or Kath. She's Executive Vice President of Multisys Technologies, and she is a key leader with this organization, one of the nation's most important technology companies, it is said widely. And she really played a big role in growing this organization from a small start. She is both a registered nurse and a lawyer. So she has really doesn't come from a tech background, and she works around a lot of men, I can tell you, typical of the tech industry. And she really focuses on everything that makes an organization work. The technology and allows the technology people to do what they do best. So an important role for any fast growing technology company. So please welcome Kath Milla of Multisys Technologies. Welcome, Kath.
Thank you, Richard, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone has been staying safe and staying at home. So today I'll be sharing my insights about the Asia SME Forum. So the question is, how do we boost MSME's growth and avoid further closure despite the current crisis we are facing? One solution is by embracing e-commerce and technology, especially during these times where physical interactions are quite limited. When it comes to shifting to digital, you may have to consider these factors: accepting e-payment options such as digital payments like GCash, PayMaya, and the like. You can also consider credit card, debit card capabilities such as Visa and MasterCard. Having business visibility online via social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or Shopee, Lazada. Integration with logistic partners such as Angkas, Grab, Mr. Speedy, Lalamove. Also, website development. And of course, the most important is the overall customer experience online. When building your own website, you must make sure to have these features. Of course, it has to be user-friendly, making sure your page is simple, easy to use. It must be optimized. Most of the time, the internet speed is very low, so having a light and fast website can ease the loading time. It has to be integrated with logistic capabilities. Upon purchase, the site should automatically link you to logistic partners for immediate pickup. It also needs to have a user-generated reviews. This allows your customer to leave reviews on your website and per product, and it also boosts more credibility to your website. Plus, you'll be able to get the pulse of the public, these are factors for you to improve your business. Another thing is you can also do promos and loyalty rewards. You can send promos, seasonal offers, cashbacks to your customers and use via SMS or email so that they could revisit eventually. And all these are essential as it will help your business grow in the e-commerce industry. But it's not just limited to e-commerce alone. There are a lot of ready-made smart solutions and platforms popping up, such as Cloud Kitchen for SMEs in the food industry. We also have here agri-technology for farmers and producers across the country. Smart city platforms for the LGUs so that their constituents can renew their business licenses, permits, and documents online and settle through different payment platforms. We also have smart tourism for travel agencies and hotels, e-payments such as e-wallets, digital banks, cryptocurrencies, travel tech where you could commute or buy your tickets through your phone or smart card. Solutions like this will allow you to plug and play, meaning all you have to do is to put your logo, rebrand it a little bit, add your products and services, and you could easily launch it in as fast as 3 months' time. This can be done through your local IT companies such as Multisys and startup techs as well. And there are so many other verticals that can be digitally transformed to, from IT, retail, government, LGUs, academies, utilities, banking and finance, and healthcare, hospitality, and so on. Shifting to digital is so much easier since we Filipinos have a pool of great IT professionals in the country all over the world. There are actually 3 C's going to local technology transformation. The first C is easier communication. Again, there are 3 C's why we have to go local in technology transformation. Local techs and businesses have more accountability as they understand the local businesses operations of the Filipinos in general, and are also considered when it comes to costing flexible. We are flexible to our clients and customers, especially when you are called Soki. The second C is championing talents. We are recognized abroad for our IT services, so why don't we adapt it to Filipino tech, right? We are masipag and we have established our own way of coming up with products and solutions that is somehow grounded and rooted in our culture. The third C, competitive products. We produce products and services that are acknowledged as world-class, but at a more affordable price. That's why we are known to export goods and provide offshore services. If other countries use our products, then why can't we? Tayo-tayo lang rin naman ang makakatulong sa isa't isa. This is not only applicable in tech, but also for majority of consumer goods and services. Filipinos are entrepreneurial in nature, and it is high time to advocate our support for local businesses and support SMEs. Thank you so much. We are not just trying to survive here. We are already innovating ourselves through technology and SMEs at large, and are running their businesses online, which is a progress in itself. I'm pretty sure that with more collaborations and partnerships, we Filipinos could create bigger and better ideas to innovate further in the long run. Thank you.
Technology. Yeah, people don't need to be afraid of technology. So thanks, Kath. Yes, it's so important because small, mid-sized companies now with technology, I mean, you can work with a company like Multisys. I would recommend them, but like Kath said, there's others as well, depending on the kind of work you're doing, but so important. And small companies now can compete with the same systems, just like what cost large companies millions of dollars to create. Small apps like what Multisys and other companies are doing are available to help run your company. So very, very important, and important for all entrepreneurs to really jump into the technology side to help their business. So thank you very much, Kath. Glad to have you speak, my dear.
Glad to see you again.
Okay, our next speaker is James Buskowitz, the CEO of Buskowitz Group. And James is doing a lot to achieve this low carbon future that everyone talks about, and has become a big force in the solar rooftop business in the nation. So a lot of impressive installations with companies like Coca-Cola, Robinsons, Santis, the chain of high-end food products, Colgate, Shell, Petron, all these kinds of organizations have worked with James to build their rooftop solar installation. So quite a story, and an entrepreneurial fellow. So please welcome James Buskowitz of Buskowitz Group. Welcome, James. Glad to have you.
Hi, Richard. Thanks for having me. Really glad to be here. So, what can I tell you? I'm James. Nice to be here. And basically, I'm the founder and CEO of Buskowitz Energy. It's my first startup, and it basically dates back to 2011 when I first started it. I was 21 at the time. And I guess I'll share my presentation and tell you a little bit more about my story. It started in 2011. That was when I first initially got into the space. I was doing my internship at our hotel in Boracay. We have a 5-star resort there, and basically I was doing my internship. I was studying hotel management, and I basically thought, well, my dad asked me if I could look into solar because it's very general, like it's very common in Germany. And so I was doing my internship in the hotel, and I looked into solar suppliers, and I couldn't find any in the country. And so that's how it started. I started the company at the time, made sure, basically tried to make solar more accessible and available in the country. It took us really 3 years to sign our first contract, and it was basically very difficult to sell someone, this is solar, this is how it works. So in 2014, that's when we signed our first customer, and it was Euroswiss or Santis Delicatessen. And they happened to invest. They actually invested in our business a few years ago as well. 2015 was our first real successful year, though, and because of the new business model, raised capital, implemented the new business model where we had to invest in the projects, and but it also came with a lot of challenges because it was very difficult to focus on operations. Again, it was our first time doing it. And in 2016 was actually a very difficult year. My entire executive team left. One left, two, our CEO and CFO tried to basically left and tried to compete against us. And there was no sales because we lost the momentum in 2015 being so busy with operations. And 2017 became a very good year. We doubled the revenues of the previous year. 2018, we quadrupled the revenues. And in 2019, doubled the revenues of 2018. And then, of course, 2020 happened. And 2020 was also, but basically 2020, during the start, everything sounded great. We became one of the largest rooftop solar companies in the country with over 168 projects. Then the pandemic happened. And again, commercial sales was very difficult. We had collection issues. Our hotel closed as well. And so we had to make certain changes. We shifted to the residential market, which was actually very successful. And then in 2021, after a very tough year, we made our biggest equity raise where we raised 400 million pesos in capital and at a 1 billion valuation. And I think that was our biggest break. Now we've basically the biggest investor came from Vivant Corporation through their subsidiary, and their Vivant is a public company. For us, it's very valuable when a public company with that level of scrutiny and reportorial requirements invests in a company like ours. And so that's when we really became one of the largest rooftop solar and sustainable solutions companies. And again, it's important to mention that it's not just solar, it's solar and sustainable solutions, because solar provides one solution to the overall problem we have in the world at the moment. But basically 70% of the greenhouse gases come from the energy sector, and in order to avoid basically future catastrophes and avoid climate change, we need to look at energy production, which is what we do with solar, and then also energy consumption. So reducing energy consumption and basically switching to more energy efficient products. And so that's where we provide sustainable solutions, being more like basic energy efficiency services and energy management systems. Throughout my journey and entrepreneurship, our plan is really to grow the business. We're only at the stage where we reached a certain level. And of course, the plan is to take that further. We want to be listed on the Philippine Stock Exchange in a few years. So that is definitely a target. And but what I do want to do now is something that I've, basically taking the things that I've learned over the years. I started a venture capital where I myself invest in startups, knowing how hard it is to raise capital in the Philippines. And also, basically we want to help founders and entrepreneurs scale, and without having to worry so much about the corporate back end, because that was one of the very difficult things that we had to face at the time. How does the accounting work? So what's corporate governance and all these things was very difficult, and it can be very difficult. But I feel like that's one of the things that's missing to help entrepreneurs really focus on the business, focus on the the targets and focus on operations and scale. So that's why we started a venture capital, and it's something that I do want to focus on as well over the next few years. So thank you. That's pretty much it.
Thanks, James. Okay, a good story. And you were 21 when you started, so that's nice to hear. Yeah, a lot of opportunities for Philippines with such a large amount of sunlight shining on the country and among the world's highest cost electricity charges. There's a big opportunity for you. So thank you very much, James. Chief Executive Officer of FranCorp Philippines, and better known as the mother of Philippine franchising. Yeah, she's really helped Philippines develop into a top franchise market. She's also Vice Chairman of the Philippine Franchise Association and Vice Chairman of the Philippine Retailers Association. This is, I believe, certainly one of the largest business groups in the nation, and she has helped a lot of people get into business on the franchise side. Key brands such as Potato Corner, the Generics Pharmacy, Bench, Pen Shop, on and on she has helped work with and developed over the years. So please welcome Bing Simbal Limjoko of FranCorp. Welcome, Bing. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm also happy to be here with you. Actually, I have started franchising in 1995 together with Mr. Sammy Lim, the father of Philippine franchising. At that time, when we brought in franchising in the Philippines, people did not know what it was. We asked DTI to send us a speaker. We had our conference, and guess who they sent us? Somebody from LTFRB on the jeepney and buses franchises. So he says, I don't know what I'm doing here. We also said, yes, we don't know what you're doing here. So that was way back 95. And that's how we grew the industry, is by getting good brands, because we wanted to really choose the members of the Philippine Franchise Association, because it would really make our industry. We wanted to bring the industry, we wanted to create entrepreneurs and generate millions of jobs. And we have done this. So definitely when we started in 95, there were just 50 brands of franchises in the Philippines, most of them foreign franchises. As we know, that would be the McDonald's, the KFC, and the others too. So we said there are many Filipinos who are also entrepreneurs, and they can become a brand also, just like Jollibee. So this inspired us to really help the micro or small become a franchise brand. And we have been successful in doing this. This we can start with the Max Group, the Goldilocks, the Pen Shop, the Bench, and the other brands also, they started small. So I always believe in the micro, small enterprises, that they can grow from one to many. And I would always tell the Department of Trade and Industry that we have a proven formula to grow micro and small businesses. We must make the foundation right. We must make it win, win, win. And what is that? The first win is for the franchisor to make money. The second win is for the franchisee to make money. Because we always say, if the franchisor is the only one making money, it won't last. If it's only the franchisee making money, it won't last. The third win is, of course, for the customers to keep coming back. So we must balance these three. And this is the secret, really, of how they really grow. And we keep doing this with the other smaller brands that have come. And there are many more now that are just starting, but we're very happy that the Philippines have made it. We now have 2,000 brands, and 70% are homegrown in the Philippines. So we have really helped many of these micro and small businesses grow from one to many. And I still look forward to doing more of this. The franchise industry is very promising. They said franchising is good in good times, but franchising is even better during challenging times. So isn't this inspiring? Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you very much, Bing Lim Joko. And yeah, so nice to see high quality franchisees like Potato Corner and Tony Tan's Jollibee opening up a lot of franchises around the world. So we want to see more of that. So thank you again, Bing Lim Joko. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is just such a nice fellow and decent guy, Jess Nickdow. His title we put is Master Franchisee for Jollibee. He owns roughly 40 Jollibee and Chowking stores, and I think other names as well, and often called the franchise king of North and Central Luzon, or that's what I understand. And also prominent in really promoting the provincial locations like Pampanga. He's chairman of the Pampanga Chamber of Commerce, very active in Rotary and these kinds of things, and really helps and promotes others to become entrepreneurs in the nation. So please welcome a heck of a nice fellow, Jess Nickdow of Jollibee. Please, glad to have you, Jess.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. First of all, allow me to thank you and our good friend, Rebecca Bustamante, for inviting me today to share my story. My business life is just like probably many of the businessmen around. It began in the late 1980s. During that time, my wife decided to practice her profession as a pediatrician in our province in Pampanga. And so as a loyal husband, I then also decided to stay with her and pursue my dream of starting a business venture in Pampanga. So I started to study the market around, went to the different towns and see what kind of business is worth going into. And then I went into the only Jollibee outlet in San Fernando, Pampanga. During those years in the late 80s, there were only a few fast food outlets. And this Jollibee is the only third Jollibee outlet in the whole province. Today, there are about 50 Jollibee outlets in the province of Pampanga. I became interested, and so I did a research on the franchising business and learned that the franchise route is one of the easiest and most profitable ways to become a startup entrepreneur. With over 1,800 franchise brands and a diverse market that spans across service, retail, and food, the Philippines continues to be a thought leader in franchising globally. The good news for potential franchisees is you have so much to choose from. The bad news is you have so much to choose from also. You are spoiled for choices, and it can get confusing. The most obvious benefit, though, of getting a franchise is that it is like getting a business in a box. And then you acquire the years of experience and the proven methods of the franchisor. After a month of careful study, I decided to work on the prospects of getting a Jollibee franchise in Guagua, Pampanga, my hometown, and one of the busiest towns in the province. My wife and my friends thought that I was joking because it was a big dream during that time. But you know what? I really believe in dreaming big. And so to make a long story short, I got the appointment and got interviewed by the Mancom of Jollibee. But the award didn't come easy because another franchisee was also applying for Guagua, and he has an edge because he is in the system already and he is Filipino Chinese, just like the Jollibee owners. But I was determined, and so I worked very hard to get the site that Jollibee wants, which I was able to secure. And then I went back to Jollibee and presented all the requirements and was interviewed again. I told Jollibee's Mancom that the franchise should be awarded to a local businessman like me because I can represent the company and the brand very well since I reside in the area and knows almost everybody. I told them I know what they want, I know what they do not want, and so I think that uh, you should allow me to get the franchise. And this probably what convinced them to award the franchise to me. And then the next hurdle was to raise the investment cost of 10 million during that time. Now it's 5 times more. I convinced my brother-in-law, Marco de la Fuente, another prominent businessman, to join me in this endeavor, and he readily accepted my offer. He would eventually become our managing director for our Jollibee outlets. Our first project, Jollibee Guagua, opened its doors to the public in December 1990, and which until today is a major contributor to the economic development of the town, providing job opportunities to professionals and students alike. Inspired by the success of Jollibee Guagua, we decided to establish more Jollibee outlets. However, in 1991, when Jollibee Foods temporarily stopped granting new franchises, we went to Chowking. April 1994, the first Chowking outlet in the whole of Pampanga was inaugurated. I then asked my youngest brother, Freddy Nicdao, to manage our Chowking outlets. In the years that followed, we opened more outlets of Jollibee, Chowking, Mang Inasal, and Greenwich, another Jollibee brand. There were outlets, though, that we closed or sold for different reasons, but our company remained strong and continued its expansion in more areas outside Pampanga, and the rest is history. Today, our company, the Nidal Group of Companies, has grown to more than 40 outlets of Jollibee, Chowking, and Mang Inasal in central and northern Luzon. And because of our outstanding performances of our stores, the Nidal Group has been awarded 11 times as Jollibee's National Franchisee of the Year and 6 times as Chowking's Franchisee of the Year. This was made possible because of our biggest asset, our employees. We are just so lucky to have gathered some of the best people in the industry. And this was made possible because of our strategic plans that included our employees' welfare and benefits. The Nidal Group will be opening more fast food outlets in the future. That is all my short business story. And I thank the Asia CEO Forum for this opportunity to share my story. Thank you. Maraming salamat and mabuhay.
Very good. Thanks, Jess. And yeah, for everybody out there, Jess, we want to make the message that the world isn't just Metro Manila. There's so many opportunities in, well, what people say is the provinces, but places like where you are in Pampanga, there's so many opportunities. Glad to see there's people like you leading the charge there. So thanks again, Jess. Very nice to meet you. Well, in a better way, even though I know it's only online, but it's very good.
I hope to see you in person soon.
Yeah.
Together with Rebecca.
Absolutely. Okay, our next speaker and final speaker, and in my opinion, the highlight of the event, we'll have Joe Magsaysay. His title is Chairman Emeritus of Potato Corner. And Joe really did build his company from scratch. Supposedly, I read with 150,000 pesos in capital. Today, they have 1,400 locations across the world. He mentioned Canada, Thailand, opening now in the Gulf region, hopefully soon, and really has made a big impact and an export success story for Philippines. So really a great story. I know, we one of many awards he's won. He was winner of the Entrepreneur of the Year at Asia CEO Awards a couple of years ago. He's known as King of Kiosk, and also, you know, his busy schedule, but he also has a real sincere effort at promoting entrepreneurship with other people and helping other people get their businesses going. So really an interesting fellow and a really good story. So please welcome Joe Magsaysay of Potato Corner. Welcome, Joe, and glad to have you.
Thank you, Richard. I'm glad to be here at your forum. Definitely, I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so excited to be here, and everything is great. Well, a lot of people tell me, how did Potato Corner grow? How did we do things? And then the answer is really, it's very simple. But somehow, it's simple, but it's complicated at the same time. You know, a lot of people say, Joe, you're a self-made person. Congratulations. But my reply to that, being self-made, really is, I'm not self-made. I am actually team-made. So it's because of the entire team of my partners, Potato Corner team, the employees, the franchisees, and people around like Bing Lim Hoko and you guys, no, all the associations or the organizations, Go Negosyo, everything, PCCI, everything. They're all here to help, and we're blessed that, you know, we've opened our arms always to everybody and to share everything we do. You know, Richard, I've had 5 brain surgeries in the last few years ago. You know, I realized one thing because of those brain surgeries. I thought to myself, maybe it's time that I look back at myself. You know, and I found out something. I found out that my core, because I had psychotherapy just to find out about myself. You know, I found out that my core is giving and sharing. And that is also the core of Potato Corner. It's giving and sharing. Sharing profits, sharing the business. You know, if you really look at it, if you really look at the big picture, for example, in 2019, our franchises alone consolidated here and outside the Philippines, maybe had a net income of about more than 300, maybe 400 million. If we did it all company owned, that money, those profits could have been ours. But no, even if we could afford to operate corporate stores, we didn't. We still did franchising because that's how we started. You know, the first store was company owned, but we didn't have enough money to open our second store. What did we do? We used other people's money, we used other people's time, organization, and we used other people's passion. We franchised. The second store, Richard, was a franchise already. And then we realized after, for example, 2 years, 80% of our stores were franchise operated. And we said, hey, let's not only be a kiosk company, let's also be a franchise company. So until now, 80% of our stores are franchise operated. And this is what makes Potato Corner very resilient, because our franchisees are the ones taking the bullet for us during a crisis. During the the late 90s Asian economic crisis, you know, from more than 100 stores, until the end of the crisis, we were left with 40 stores. Imagine, and all those 40 stores were operated by franchisees. Our franchisees are taking the bullet for us. And during this crisis, who's taking the bullet for us? Who's sacrificing for us? Our franchisees. Our franchisees are our heroes. So that's the nice thing about franchising. You become very resilient in crisis if you're good to your franchisees, because your franchisees will really help you during a crisis. So I mentioned that I'm not self-made. I am team-made. Okay, so it's so hard to put up a business. It's so hard to become an entrepreneur. When you're an entrepreneur, you're one person and you're doing everything. That's why 80-90% of startup businesses fail, because they don't realize the formula is putting a team together. When we started Potato Corner, we were four. And four of us really helped each other grow the business until it was able to fly. So it's very important. Then we started hiring employees. Then it became a team effort already. Then when our franchises became bigger already, the number of franchises became a whole ecosystem effort already. Our franchises, our suppliers, our business partners, our employees, they all help. It was a team effort. So I am not self-made. Joe Magsaysay is team-made. Potato Corner is team-made. So that's our story, being team-made. For the global aspect, we continue to see the global expansion as very exciting. I mentioned before that, last night I was talking to a great partner who's operating very good stores in the Gulf states. So we're partnering with them, and we're looking at expansion in the Gulf areas as far as Turkey for those. Our Thailand, our Indonesia, our Canada are experiencing rapid growth even during this pandemic. So we're excited. And again, the international expansion is a team effort. You know who's going to help us? Not only our franchisees and our team members, our employees. You know who's going to help us? Our Philippine consulates are helping us. We're tapping the foreign service to help us, and they're there to help. You just open your arms always to people. I realized also when I had my first brain surgery, Richard, the first thing I noticed is, because I'm a very a person who just likes to take care of myself. When I had brain surgery, I was required to stay flat and not even to raise my head for 1 or 2 weeks. And when I had to go to the bathroom, but I could not, I realized that it's time for people to help, and it's okay to be helped. It's okay to share whatever you know. They can copy anything. Of course, anybody can cook French fries. The harder the business, of course, it's more difficult to follow, the more complicated your business. But any business, no matter how complicated, can be copied. There's always what you call reverse engineering. There's always insider information or something like that. But there is always this 10 or maybe this 5% that they will never be able to copy what's in your heart. So don't worry about sharing whatever you know. Don't worry about teaching the things that you're doing to others. So they'll not be able to copy exactly how you do things. But you help the whole industry. And when you help others, they help you back. It's just like the superheroes, Marvel is very popular now. Justice League is very popular now. What do all the heroes have in common? They take the punch first. They get hit first. They get beaten up first. But after that, they always win. That's how to do it. You share, you take first, you sacrifice first. Then at the end, you always win. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Joe. That's really, really, really good. A good message.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mitzi Borromeo, and it's so great to be here again with all of you to learn from this brilliant panel at the Asia SME Forum 2021. So I want to start by asking about your backstories. You all have such brilliant, amazing stories, the journeys of we've heard basically where you've come from and how successful you are now. But I want to ask, you've all come a long way since you started out your companies. What was your biggest fear starting out, or your biggest challenge at the time? Let's start, I guess, with, I'll start with Myrna. Myrna, you started Richwell Trading 30 years ago, and I understand you started with a 5,000 peso capital. Tell me what it was at the time. What were what's the one biggest fear or challenge that you were thinking of at the time?
Oh, the one biggest fear. When I introduced Barbie, no one would like to buy. They all said, no, you come back in Christmas. We don't sell toys. Wow, that scared me. After my commitment with Mattel, right?
Great. So we'll just go briefly for everyone. Let's now, Joe Magsaysay, you built Potato Corner from scratch, starting with 150,000 capital. Is that right? What was it like at the time? What was going through your head? Were you scared? What was the big challenge you were facing?
Well, the biggest challenge I had was capital, really. So 150,000 was just enough to put up one kiosk. We didn't have enough money anymore to build the second one.
Wow. Yeah. Finance, I think that's the big challenge for everyone when they're starting out. Bing, let's go to Bing. You were the first Filipino and first Asian to earn the Certified Franchise Executive, a mini MBA on franchise management at the University of St. Thomas in Minneapolis, USA. A lot of firsts for you. And now you became the CEO of FranCorp Philippines, the country's foremost developer and consultancy firm. You are the mother, they call you the mother, the kingmaker. In fact, Joe says you're the kingmaker of franchising. What was it like for you then, back in the day, decades ago?
Okay, when we started in about 95 and all, they didn't know what franchising was. We invited DTI to be a guest speaker, and you know who they sent? Somebody from LTFRB. So they thought it's the jeepney and bus franchising. So it really took some time for us to build it. But what was our mission is really to create thousands of entrepreneurs and generate millions of jobs. Having this in mind, we want to help. Like Joe, we really wanted to help, and look at what he has now. This is how we believe it should help our country and the Filipinos.
Oh, amazing. I cannot even imagine that the word franchise now, everybody you know it as a kid. So, wow, you've really helped uplift the country in that way. Mila, now we'll go to you. Earlier in your career, you were in New York. You started out in Wall Street, in the banking industry, currency trading, and you moved back to the Philippines. It was in around 1993, right? What was it like for you then? Because that's when you partnered with somebody to start your tech consultancy firm company. Were you scared at the time starting in this new adventure?
Yeah, definitely. I came from companies in New York that's fully set up. And when I actually stayed, became a house mom for 6 years. And the opportunity came up and said, if I want to start working. So meaning I have to start from ground up. So I was afraid coming from a non-tech background to somebody who will start a company who will do all the premise from the BIR and everything. And I'm saying, wow, I had to fall in line. And I started with 7 people. I was the recruiter. I was operations. I was everything. So I learned it really from ground up. So I started with 7 smart students from De La Salle and on a 70 square meter office. Now we have 5 floors in Orient Square. That is now in 2000, which is about 2,000 people. I used to run operations, but I said it's becoming boring. So I ventured into sales, which there is where I found my niche. So I was very successful so far in getting the big organization. Despite the pandemic, we're blessed. We still continue to grow, and we're very surprised. So thank God, and there is still a nonstop growth. So I guess that's where my success is, in the sales portion.
Amazing. So much energy, and you really have to have the personality for that. Wow.
But scary. I mean, 70 square meter. You have to look for IT. I don't know how to interview people. I was the recruiter. I was everything. Wow. And now we're pretty big, 2,000 from 7 people. That's why it's called 77.
Is that why? Interesting. Wow.
It's a pretty lucky number for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's go over to Jess. Jess, you are the franchise king of North and Central Luzon. What was it like though, starting out the first time you were getting into franchising? What were you fearful of? What was a big challenge for you?
Well, just like Joe, it was the capital during that time. When the franchise was awarded to me, I was really happy. But then when they gave me the numbers, it was in the 80s, 10 million is a lot of money to start up a business. And to the fact that during those times after the EDSA revolution, interest rates were like more than 20%. I don't know how you can survive with 20% interest rates now. But during that time, that was the interest rates. So that was a struggle. And then the next struggle was after we opened our store in December, 6 months after, Mount Pinatubo erupted. And so it covered everything. We thought it was the end of it all, but we struggled. We went on to survive, and we were lucky. We did it.
Oh, wow. That really, you survived and grew stronger. Now on to Kath. Kath, you are among the top executives at Multisys. I mean, you helped build it from scratch. What was it like in the beginning for you?
Well, just like I shared to Richard earlier today, I was a registered nurse prior to studying law. So in fact, I don't have any tech background. When I came in Multisys, there were no, we had like programmers, but we had one accountant, one HR. So I really didn't know what to do. I thought I came to just review the contracts and everything, but I didn't know about anything about the business. So I learned alone. I learned everything just by researching, asking the programmers, drawing it myself, the system, so I could understand the process. And from there, slowly we were able to progress from being a small company to now partly owned by PLDT.
Amazing. Wow. Good. Wow. Imagine that. So a nurse, lawyer, and now tech whiz. Interesting. I understand the Buskowitz Group started as part of your endeavor to cut electric costs for your family-owned resort in Boracay. Is that right? That's Monaco Suites in Boracay.
Yeah,
so you
that's
learned
right.
more about solar power when you studied in Germany. What was it like when you came back here and you started introducing this concept? I guess not many people were into that at the time.
Not at all. I mean, it was very difficult because initially starting the company was very simple. That was actually a very exciting period. But realizing later on how difficult it was to sell was very funny because you came there being one of the first implementers, being the one of the first companies to start this business and technology, bringing this technology in the Philippines. Nobody's heard of you. Nobody knows the technology. And then you're there saying, hey, trust me, the system's going to cost you 5 million, 10 million, 20 million pesos. And it's going to give you a 3-year payback, 4-year payback. They would be basically like, oh, don't think I should trust someone who has never done a project in the Philippines before. And so, but it was because of that, we wanted to start solar and make it basically more accessible and educate people. And so we started, our first project was of course in our own hotel, just so we could showcase and prove to people it works. This was our bill before, this is what it is today. But yeah, that was an exciting period, and it took about 3 years until people actually caught on.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And now you were, I guess, ahead of your time, but now everybody's really into that. So you really set the path forward. Now let's go on to Dawn. Dawn, you received the Asia CEO Awards 2020 Circle of Excellence SME Company of the Year. You were part of also recognized as Circle of Excellence Young Leader. And what was it like then when you founded your company in 2014? What were your initial concerns or challenges or fears at the time?
I think it's very, very similar to the other speakers. So just like what Joe and Jess said, capital is a very, very serious consideration because as a bootstrap company, if I put all my life savings to it, and if I failed, it's gonna really hit me personally. And same with my co-founders, they really risk their career for this. And so I fear being, disappointing them and trusting me too much. At the same time, I relate to Mila of 77 as well, because that was my first business. I had to line up everywhere. I don't know what I was doing accounting stuff and business stuff. But it's all just about getting out of your comfort zone, and then doing the dirty work, and then eventually we just happened to we were able to survive for 3 years until we hit our turning point. And so finally we had these great projects, great clients, and now we're here.
Cindy, now over to you. You founded allcare.io in late 2017. So this is the world's first and only membership-based benefits marketplace for the gig and freelance worker. And you achieved profitability just in your second year. What was it like though in the beginning?
As a startup, achieving profitability and then balancing growth, it's almost unheard of, right? Because startups are known to burn cash as fast as they can say cash. And so for us, the key was remaining lean as we grew. We actually founded in 2018 and launched New Market in 2019. And so we've had really difficult time going up the ladder, scaling up, but finding the right people, not just functional fit, but more importantly, the commitment to get the vision done no matter the challenge was such a crucial thing for us. A lot of our executives on the team now have had to learn how to really scale a startup. And we're very thankful we have companies that support us, not just with funding, but also access to their network, access to their partners. And that has really amped up our ability to scale and grow. And as you said, hit profitability despite being as lean as we are.
Thank you, James. I wanted to add, you did give an important statistic there. I just read this in the Philippine Statistics Authority that SMEs are the economic lifeblood in the Philippines, accounting for more than 99% of registered businesses in the country. And they provide 60% of our jobs. So thank you for all your wonderful advice. I feel like I've taken a master class here with a master's. I wish we had more time, and for sure there will be future ones. Thank you again to Asia CEO Forum for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for all your wonderful advice, not just for business, but for life. And I hope everybody had a great learning experience as I did. Thank you all. Over to you, Richard.
Okay, thank you to Mitzi Borromeo for that very well done question and answer session. It's not easy to manage with so many interesting people. And really, really inspiring for me and for all of us. So really watch these companies and watch this sector. This really is the future of the nation. And I got to also say, this was my first time really spending some time with Joe Magsaysay of Potato Corner. And he really quite an individual. All the people, Bing and another one. I mean, we really did have some really good stories. But I got to say, I'm just so proud of Joe Magsaysay for the things he's done and has really created an export industry in franchises. He also looked good too, didn't he? He had his suit on with his tie. One of the rare times you see him dressed up so nice. So again, thank you everyone for being with us. That was Asia SME Forum 2021. See you again next year.